It's hard to believe just an hour and a half from Vancouver, you're suddenly into this mountain range that is still untapped, untouched. As soon as you enter into the valley and start driving out, it just gets more beautiful and pristine as you continue to drive. Seeing the river beside you, driving beside it, looking at the mountainscapes on each side and sort of how it feels like you're driving into a movie.
Chilliwack Lake, also known as Sxótsaqel, is a place that our people have been attached to since time immemorial. There's no date, exact date, where we can trace back, say, hundreds or thousands of years. My ancestral name is Ts'elxweyeqw. It's a name that ties to the Chilliwack River Valley and to Chilliwack Lake, where the names originated. There's a connection that we have that goes deeper than belonging. I spend a lot of time up there, and I go up there quite a bit throughout the year, and it's one of the places that is quiet. It's nice, it's beautiful, the lake is beautiful, the mountains are beautiful, that it's somewhere that I feel I belong, because our names connect us to the land. The landscape is very steep, and I would say kind of rugged. The lake itself it's basically a valley. It's a lot of cliffs and drop-offs, and the lake was most likely formed by a landslide. So you can almost see it at the end of the lake, where there was a landslide that happened and the river overflowed into a lake. It had no other option, and then it still flows down into Chilliwack River.
And a couple of issues resulted from the landslide was the migration of fish habitat. So they could no longer make it up to the lake, so then the villages were forced to move down as a result of not having access to the fish. If we think back to where we come from in our historical roots, the stories that have been passed on to us for generations have always been linked to Sxótsaqel. So tribe foundational location being up at the lake, using the lake for sustenance, being there, living off of the land, our connection to the land, the air, the water, and also our cultural practices have been absolutely significant. You know, historically, what we've been taught is we have transformers. So Halq'eméylem was a transformer that if people were not conducting themselves properly or treating others fairly, Halq'eméylem would actually turn individuals into stone, and that was how they were. We see formations of different rocks located along rivers, lakes. We see mountain stories of mountains created as a result. And then other stories from the sky people that, you know, when people were doing good things, were transformed into other living beings such as plants and animals. So if we think of natural disasters versus historical teachings with respect to transformer sites, there's a bit of an amalgamation of how things happened, and we see both forms of transition that complement each other. And often, you know, we think about the responsibility and we think about protection with traditional territories. And one thing that we're always reminded of when we do the work is the importance of engagement with our members, our people. So we have knowledge holders, elders that have spent years learning traditions, sharing the culture. They have the stories that have been passed on as an oral history. And so while we might have a position of leadership, our responsibility is actually to go to our members, to our citizens, and confirm the direction, confirm that when we're deciding and in these positions to make decisions, it's the guidance from the people on how we make those decisions. So I think it's just important to always highlight that. When we've watched BC Parks manage the park in our traditional territory for a couple of generations, and then finally having the opportunity through recognized legislation like UNDRIP, we see BC Parks coming to us and actually wanting to work with us on developing a co-managed park plan. So that's something that hasn't been done up there. For us, I think it's a massive step forward in us just having the name Sxótsaqel, Sacred Lake, being recognized through legislation has been massive for us. You know, our community is taking some control, being able to complement a parks plan and actually co-develop a parks plan with an Indigenous lens. It's not to say that the park was always managed in a bad way or that BC Parks wasn't doing everything right. They took necessary steps with what they had, but I think we have a greater opportunity to actually improve what's been done and recognize and protect even more sites that are important to our communities. What we do now has an impact on the next generation.